Welcome to Physics. Today we're going to see chapter number 1, Nature of Physical World and Measurements of Class 11 Physics Tamil Nadu Board. Today's topic is propagation of errors in product and division of two quantities. So in the first half we will be learning about the error in product of two quantities. In our previous video we saw the topic about delta A and delta B and what is absolute errors, and the link of that video will be given in the description. So before entering into this topic, please learn the previous two topics, which is propagation of errors in sum and difference of two quantities. So before moving on to this topic, please refer those videos and then enter into this video. So now let us move on to the derivation. So first I'm going to assume that Z is equal to A into B, product of quantity A and quantity B. And the measured value of quantity A is taken as A plus or minus delta A, and measured value of quantity B is taken as B plus or minus delta B. So now I'm going to substitute. So I've taken the equation Z is equal to A into B as equation number 1, and the measured value of A I have taken as equation number 2, and this as equation number 3. Now I'm going to substitute equation 2 and 3 in equation 1. Therefore, my equation 1 becomes Z is equal to, in the place of A, I'm going to substitute A plus or minus delta A. And in the place of B, I'm going to substitute B plus or minus delta B. Now I'm going to multiply each term with one another. I'm going to multiply A into B, A into delta B, delta A into delta B, delta A into B, delta A into delta B. Now the error in the Z, the error in the Z value is delta Z. Therefore, the Z value can be taken as Z plus or minus delta Z. Okay. So now in the place of Z, I'm going to substitute the value Z plus delta Z, or the expression Z plus delta Z. So when I substitute that, I would get Z plus or minus delta Z is equal to, now I'm going to multiply each term. A into B is AB, A into B is AB, plus or minus, I'm going to take it in the bracket, plus or minus, A into delta B is A delta B, plus or minus, delta A into delta A into B, plus or minus delta A into delta B, delta A into delta B. Now I'm going to divide both the sides by Z. I'm going to divide both the sides by Z. So I'll write dividing Z on both sides. When I divide Z on both the sides, I need to take it like this step. Z plus or minus delta Z by Z is equal to AB by Z plus or minus A delta B by Z plus or minus delta AB by Z plus or minus delta A into delta B by Z. Now what is the value of Z? What is the value of Z? Z is equal to A into B. So what will I do is, this term can be separated as Z by Z plus or minus delta Z by Z. And in the left hand side, now I'm going to substitute in the place of Z the value AB. In the left hand side, you're going to substitute the values of Z as AB. So I can write AB by AB plus or minus A delta B by AB plus or minus delta A into B by AB plus or minus delta A delta B, delta A into delta B by AB. This Z by Z will get cancelled, AB by AB will get cancelled, which will be left with 1 plus or minus delta z by z is equal to 1 plus or minus. Now here the value a and a will get cancelled, but you cannot cancel delta b and b. They are two different values. So I need to write as it is, delta b by b plus or minus. Here a and delta a cannot be cancelled because they are two different values, but I can cancel b and b. So therefore I need to write delta a by a plus or minus. I'll separate this last term as delta A by A into delta B by B. I cannot cancel these values. But what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna neglect this term. That is delta A by A into delta B by B value I am going to neglect. Why do I neglect? Because if I'm gonna give a value, let me give a value for that. If my value of A is 100 or 10, I'm gonna take a small value. If my value of A is 10 and value of delta A is 1, as we saw in my first topic, that is in sum of two quantities, and in the place of B I'm gonna take 20 and delta B as 2. Substitute these values in the place of this expression. What do you get? In the place of delta A, I get 1 by 10 into 2 by 20, which is 2 by 200, right? Which is nothing but 1 by 100. Simplifying it, I'll get 0.01, right? So, this is a smaller value. Since I am getting smaller value when I apply my numerical values, therefore I'm going to neglect this. I'm going to neglect this whole term. That means I'm going to make it vanish. So in my next step, I can write it as this 1 and 1 will get cancelled, which will be left with plus or minus delta z by z is equal to plus or minus delta b by b plus or minus delta a by a. Now I'm going to take the plus or minus symbol as common. Plus or minus delta z by z, which is equal to, taking plus or minus common, I'll get delta b by delta a plus delta a by a plus delta b by b, and this plus or minus symbol will vanish, and we'll be left with delta z by z is equal to delta a plus delta a by a plus delta b by b. So this is my expression. Okay, now coming on to the definition of this expression. How do you define the error in the product of two quantities? So I'm gonna say that the maximum fractional error in the product of two quantities is equal to the sum of fractional error in the individual quantities. So how can we define this error in product of two quantities? It is the maximum fractional error in the product of two quantities is equal to the sum of the fractional error in the individual quantities. That is delta z by z. Delta z by z is the maximum fractional error, which is equal to delta z by z is equal to sum of the fractional errors. Sum of the fractional errors in the individual quantities delta b by b. So this is the final expression for the error in the product of two quantities, and this is the final expression for this subdivision.